2012 was 10 years ago, and the year that the Oculus Rift Kickstarter launched. Since then, Oculus got bought by Facebook, and then both Facebook and Oculus disappeared. So now in my, and probably about 15 million other people's hands, is the last Oculus headset. And here's the first. But before we compare those two, the Quest 2's had a wild lifetime. It started off at just 72Hz refresh rate at $299. Then about a month later it got 90Hz for free, then in April of 2021 it got 120Hz, we got improved hand tracking, AR support, and seemingly every month Oculus sends me another discount code for 30% off a game that I'm never gonna use. Then, in July of 2022, they announced that you're not gonna need Facebook accounts anymore for the Quest, and they're being replaced by Meta accounts, which everyone liked, along with a £100 increase in price. What? That definitely makes competitors' headsets a lot more appealing, considering you can get a Pico Neo 3 Link, which is a very similar headset to the Quest 2, but with no online account requirement and for the same price. But that's not what this video's about. We want to see what a decade of development counts for in VR hardware. And yeah, the Quest 2 did launch in 2020, but the experience is so different to launch day that those 2 years definitely count as dev time. And let's start before we even open the box. All of these headsets were bought used, obviously, but just look at the crate that the Dev Kit 1 comes with. It's actually got part of the plastic, there's the Oculus logo, same goes for on the back, and when you actually, like, not unlock, but you know what I mean, unclasp the box, we've got nice, just a nice layout for everything. And I do think it's a printed signature, but we get this letter that's just really nice from the Oculus dev team. And then even when we move to the consumer version of the Rift, like the one that kind of normal people first bought, the box is still really nice. It's all soft touch, there's a matte Oculus logo there. It's got an integrated like fabric carrying handle. And when you open it up, this is actually, because I used to obviously use one of these, I bought one of these bundles and the extra sensors separately because it worked out being cheaper used. So that's why there's only one sensor in this. But the box had compartments for everything. It's like padded on the inside. It looks really fancy. I'll let you see that better. It's a really nice box, and for whatever reason, it's always stood out to me just the way this box smelled. It smells really nice. And then the Quest 2. I don't have the paper sleeve on it or anything, but it's the same box still. It's still a really nice box, it still feels great and stuff, and it still has all the things you'd need in the instructions. It just feels like what I'd expect if Apple were to try and get into VR headsets. It's a really nice feeling box, it's just... I trapped my finger. It's just what you'd expect from a fancy tech product. Like, it seems like we've gone from really super something special and limited to really nice, like, kind of only for the people who really believed in VR, but not as exclusive as that, to just a normal but nice piece of tech. But despite the boxes definitely getting less cool over time, the tech specs definitely improved quickly. These numbers are all relative to the Dev Kit 1. So the consumer version of the Rift had 1.5 times the refresh rate and 2.5 times as many pixels, but the Quest 2 has 2 times the refresh rate and 7 times as many pixels, with a computer inside capable of running games at that resolution and refresh rate. Let alone the extra stuff that comes with that, like Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth, power buttons on the headset itself rather than a breakout box, a battery. With all that, you can live stream the games while you're playing them, all in the headset. Plus, just like the Dev Kit 1, all of the tracking's handled inside the headset. It's just that, unlike the Dev Kit 1, which was just tracking rotation, the Quest 2 handles rotation and position of it and... of it and 2 other controllers. The other one I'm not holding it. It's really impressive, but this definitely isn't an ad for the Quest 2. Some software updates have been bug-filled, and sometimes the headset will just forget your Guardian boundary, though that has gotten better over time, and then got way worse, and then is getting better, so I think we're good now. But the amount of control that Meta, Facebook, whatever has over the hardware you've bought is crazy. I need to give them a card number or my phone number just to be able to install apps that aren't from the official Oculus store. And the way they treat competitors' services when they launch their own version is just sad. looking at virtual desktop in this case. And obviously Facebook has their own issues that came before the Quest ever did. So it's pretty obvious why people are happy that we're switching to Meta accounts, but that doesn't really say that anything other than Facebook's own issues are going away. Meta still has a ton of control over your headset. But with that aside, actually no. Also, the Elite Strap had a terrible launch. One of my Quest pass-through cameras actually has a dead pixel, which doesn't affect anything, but I can see it. There are definitely problems with it. But with that aside, let's try the DevKit one on Windows 11. So this is where we leave the planned bit of the video. I've not actually tried to use the DevKit one on a Windows 11 computer running a graphics card that's not even a year old yet, so we'll just have to see. I do know at the very least that this can work on Windows 10, so and Windows 11 isn't too different generally. However, it's also been years since this has even been turned on, and I fixed the cable on it myself, so we'll have to see. Maybe this doesn't get to be a video after all. So we've got the headset, we've got the breakout box, we've got the USB cable, and also the separate power cable, which is fair enough for a dev kit, but I'm still really surprised that the consumer version of the Vive actually ended up needing one, because the Rift managed just fine off only a USB 3 port, but you know, I guess HTC just couldn't figure it out in time. And a HDMI cable, of which there are 2. There's also a DVI cable, but that kind of shows the age of this. Obviously no modern graphics card has DVI on it. And also actually unique to the dev kits, swappable lenses. It's pretty obvious, if you think about it, why these didn't make it into consumer versions, because when dust gets on the screen, like it did for me, it's such a pain to wipe off. It involved taking the headset apart, but it did mean that if you were far-sighted or short-sighted, you could just use the headset without having to buy separate prescriptive lenses. And honestly, in its defense, even though having all of these wires is obviously worse than not having them, it does make it feel like you're setting up a proper bit of kit, if that makes any sense. And last, we've just got the separate mini USB. I'm hoping I could get away with just using my monitor's USB ports, but if we have any troubles, I'll just use a proper one. There we go. Oh. Either my head has grown, or this has gotten kind of jostled around in its box, because the lenses are touching my eyelashes. Whatever, let's see if we can just get an image. I think that's the power button. Oh, yes. I mean, no signal, so it's not the best. But we do have something. Let's launch the Oculus config util. I remember this. DevKit 1 ready. Okay. There was an example thing. Username. Show demo scene. Yeah. Please work. It still works. Oh my god. I think the breakout box just fell. Actually, the cable has been repaired by me, so I probably should actually make sure I keep that anchored down a bit. Yeah, because the headset just came disconnected while doing that. I'm so happy that this still works. Let me wait for the demo scene. I'll set up screen capture so you can see this later, but you should be able to see something on my screen. Press any key to acknowledge. I can't believe I used to use this. There's like actual just this latency feels higher than, like much higher than wireless VR now. I do definitely need to clean the lenses because they're a bit fogged up. And seemingly whenever I set the headset down it loses connection, but I'm so happy that this just worked in Windows 11. I didn't even reboot. I just put the drivers on and it worked. I remember this being a hassle in Windows 10. So either someone at Microsoft really felt like improving the experience for the 5 people who still use a DevKit 1, or we've just gotten really lucky. The eye relief, yeah, the eye relief is off. The eye relief is at different amounts on each side. I think I remember, even if it's probably bad for the mechanism, yeah, you can just squeeze the headset back together. Let me try this again with clean lenses. And I'll give it a sec. Oh, it works. Okay. Press any key to acknowledge. Any... Where's the any key? The pixel density isn't even that bad. That's what I'm most shocked by. It would be if I went to read any close-up text, but I'm used to the Quest 2. Like we said before, that has 7.5 times as many pixels. I think it's just something to do with the fact that they are actual pixels. If I turn down the resolution of a game running on the Quest 2, or being streamed to the Quest 2 from my computer, it looks really bad because there's blockiness to it. But even though this is just a 720p headset spread across both eyes, I think it's actually negated a bit by the fact that they are actual pixels. The edges are still sharp. But it's also noticeable to me that the tracking in the headset isn't too great, because it's actually already drifted. I have to tilt my head for it to think that I'm looking straight. If I have my head straight, the whole world is tilted clockwise. I thought for a second then it had a head presence detector in it, like modern VR headsets do, because it stopped when I went off, but nope, it was just the cable being bad. Also, it's a hot day. It wasn't normally this bad, but there is liquid sweat, presumably, on the lenses, or maybe it is just condensation, I'm not sure, but the lenses on modern headsets definitely don't fog up this much. I know it's a shocker to all of you that own an Oculus headset, but I think the Oculus runtime has crashed, because I went to open it again and it's just not. Lego Batman: The Batmersive Experience. That's what we're doing. I want to see if its resolution has been updated for modern headsets. Play. I mean, it's cool to look at when you don't have to use this as your actual main headset. What resolution is SteamVR rendering at? Slightly higher than native. Okay. Oh, the video player is in my eyes. I wouldn't swap my Quest for it. But Batman's in VR, and I'm in VR with him. Yeah, that. Okay, right here where I'm looking, things don't actually look bad. When I look at anything far away, it looks absolutely rubbish. But close-up, contrasty, sharp things are actually not bad. And I can feel the weird thing. It feels like my head should be moving when he turned a corner, but it didn't, and that was weird. It still works. It still does actually technically get you immersed. I'll get you some shots of what the actual pixels look like through the phone. Obviously, a phone looking through the lens is not representative of how things look to your eye, but it's the best I can give you. I wish I could go more in depth with this. So, if you would like a video from me, and I really do mean if you would like it, I'll actually look, because it's going to be a huge amount of effort. I will try setting up a Kinect and hand tracking, and we'll try and play some modern VR games on this, if you would really like. I think that's beyond the scope of this video, though. Honestly, I'm not sure where this video is going. I just wanted to make a video because it's crazy to me that it's been a decade since the DevKit 1 was the Kickstarter began. Like, isn't it kind of also crazy that the DevKit 1 got open sourced? Like, an Oculus headset. You can build one yourself. There's the schematics for it. It's crazy. And it's a shame to see that what Oculus became, and then when they turned into Meta, that they've kind of lost that vision for an open VR ecosystem, and now it's all about mobile and collecting data and stuff. I don't know. I'd like to see one company kind of take another crack at what Oculus was meant to be. But I do think overall, whether you think Oculus Meta is good for the world, you know, you could definitely argue that they do some bad stuff. But regardless of that, I think there's no chance VR would be anywhere near where it is without that original post from Palmer Luckey and the rest of the Oculus team on Kickstarter. I don't know. Let me know what you think about Oculus. I think everyone is kind of unanimous on thinking that the value's amazing, but we don't like how they treat data. I don't know. Bye. Hopefully you've enjoyed. And remember, if you really do want the DevKit video, trying it with hand tracking and stuff using a Kinect, I will get that done. But only if you actually, a lot of people tell me that they really want it. Bye.